Somewhere in the open ocean, far from any shore, a giant is falling. A whale, one of the largest animals that has ever lived, has died. And now slowly in silence, its enormous body is sinking into the dark. It will take hours to reach the bottom. What happens when it lands is one of the strangest and most beautiful events in all of nature. Because down here in the freezing black, this single death is about to become an explosion of life. Scientists call it a whale fall. At the surface, a whale is warmth and song and breath. But when it dies, the gases that kept it afloat leak away, and the body begins its final journey, down through the sunlit water, down past the last of the blue light, down into permanent night. The place it is heading is a desert. The deep sea floor is one of the emptiest environments on Earth, freezing, crushing, and almost completely without food. For the animals that live here, hunger is not an emergency. It is simply the way things are. The only food that normally reaches this far down is marine snow, a slow, faint drizzle of dead scraps drifting from the world above. It is barely enough to survive on. Across most of the deep floor, life clings on, half-starved in the dark. The deep sea is the largest living space on the entire planet. It is also the hungriest. Almost everything that falls from the sunlit world above is eaten long before it ever reaches the bottom. So the animals here survive on almost nothing, waiting, sometimes for years, between meals. So when tens of tons of flesh and bone come crashing down out of the blackness, it is not just a meal, it is the single greatest windfall these animals will ever encounter. A feast so vast it can outlast a human lifetime. The whale settles onto the mud, 2, 3, sometimes 4 kilometers down. And almost at once, the news begins to spread. Carried on the slow current, the scent of it drifts out across the seafloor, and the desert starts to wake up. What follows unfolds in stages, across years and even decades. Ecologists have mapped them like chapters in a story. Each stage brings a different cast of creatures, and each one feeds on what the stage before it left behind. First come the scavengers. Drawn in from miles around by the smell of the kill, an army gathers in the dark. This is the mobile scavenger stage, and it is fast and it is savage. The largest arrive first. Sleeper sharks, 4 or 5 meters long, glide in and tear away great mouthfuls of blubber. Rat-tail fish circle at the edges, darting in to steal what they can. The giant is being taken apart, piece by piece. Then there are the hagfish, primitive, eel-like, and utterly relentless. They arrive in writhing knots, burrowing straight into the body to eat the whale from the inside out. And the small ones come in their millions. Amphipods, like pale deep-sea fleas, blanket the carcass in a living, shifting carpet. Together, this ravenous crowd can strip a whale down to the bone in a matter of months. Down here, a feast this size may come only once in a generation, so nothing is wasted. Every scrap of flesh, every drop of oil, and in the end, the bones themselves will all be claimed by something waiting in the dark. What was a whale becomes a skeleton, half sunk into the mud. But the feast is far from over, because the second stage is only just beginning. The bones and the sediment around them are still soaked in fat and nutrients, and a new community moves in to mine what remains. This is the enrichment stage, and it turns the seafloor into a garden. The mud around the skeleton fills with worms, snails, and crustaceans, some of them found almost nowhere else on the planet. More than 200 species have been recorded living on the remains of a single whale, and the strangest of them all attacks the bones themselves. A creature with no mouth, no stomach, and no gut. It is called Osedax, the bone eater. Sometimes simply the zombie worm. Osedax cannot bite. Instead, it grows root-like tendrils that bore down into the bone, secreting acid to dissolve it. Bacteria living inside those roots break down the fat locked within and feed the worm from the inside. A creature that devours a skeleton without ever taking a single bite. And the bone eaters are patient. They can work a single skeleton for years, slowly hollowing it out from within, releasing what was trapped inside back into the water, and feeding the next wave of life to come. For years, sometimes decades, the bones give up their riches slowly. And as they do, they set the stage for the strangest chapter of this entire story. Deep inside every bone is a hidden store of fat. As bacteria break it down, they release a familiar poison into the water. Hydrogen sulfide, the very same chemical that fuels the gardens of life around hydrothermal vents. And so, on the skeleton of a whale, a third community appears. White mats of bacteria bloom across the bones, feeding on the sulfide. Around them gather clams, mussels, and tube worms, the exact same kinds of animals that crowd around deep-sea vents. It means a dead whale becomes a tiny, temporary version of a vent. A chemical oasis, glowing with life in the middle of the dark, and it can keep going for 50 years or more, long after the last of the flesh is gone. So a whale fall is a graveyard and a nursery at the very same time, a single place on the loneliest floor of the ocean where death slowly and endlessly turns itself back into life. This has led to a remarkable idea. The deep sea is scattered with these chemical oases, vents, cold seeps, and whale falls. And the whale falls may act as stepping stones, letting strange vent creatures spread from one to the next across thousands of kilometers of empty seafloor. We only learned any of this recently. In 1987, a research submarine in a basin off the coast of California came across a whale skeleton on the bottom, crawling with life that no one had ever expected to find. Since then, scientists have even sunk whale carcasses on purpose, lowering them to the seafloor and returning year after year to watch an entire world assemble itself out of a single death. At any given moment, hundreds of thousands of great whales lie somewhere on the ocean floor, each one a fading island of life. And with every whale we lose from the surface, one of these deep oases, somewhere far below, is quietly going out. It is a strange kind of immortality. A whale spends its life at the surface, in the light, and then, in death, it sinks into the dark and gives that light away, feeding the deep for a generation. Somewhere below you, right now, a giant is falling, and where it lands, a world is waking up. This is Phantom. Subscribe and we will keep going deeper. This was Phantom. The deep is vast, and we have only just begun. Subscribe and we will take you back into the dark on the next descent.